quick second here. Okay, all right. So it's been a while, but hasn't been as long as the wait for this final Stunticon. So we're here doing a review for Fans Toys uh, Bandit FT31 and FT31E. This is going to be a multi-part review because, well, the combiner parts are a lot to cover. And if you guys were here last time when I tried to do all of that in one stream with Jester, it was a challenge, and I failed pretty horribly. Uh, Give me a second here. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at the box real quick. It's so big I can't even fit it in my review area without starting to show the the back of the. So we'll just go from here. It is massive. I'm pretty sure it's bigger than the Jester box. It's also very like square off. I think it's like 12 by 14 by like 22 inches. It's huge. So also pretty heavy. I think this a bit of Bandit here with his alt mode all the way up here, but you all get also get the rest of his crew as well as Marauder, their Menasor. So yeah, it's been 82 years. Welcome everyone who's actually taken the time. As usual, the side of the box has some more artwork. They do have the QR code, so if you want to look at the video instructions, they just published this today. They're okay, I would say, as well as the instructions as usual. But having done this before myself with MMC and Ocular Max, I can tell you that we don't usually get a lot of details on the instructions, so it's a little bit hard. So I'll give that person a break, whoever it is. On the back, you can see more of Marauder or Menasor, very little of actual Bandit, and then you can see the entire crew. You can see the options switching between like the cartoon and toy deco, and again, we'll show that off in a later review. We're gonna focus today on Bandit himself. We'll show maybe a little bit of the other parts, but really going to focus on Bandit. We'll probably do a second video, which will be probably the alt mode of the trailer especially. That is probably one of the most challenging transformations I've done in a while, as well as the and then the combined mode, which is pretty simple. So we do get a big booklet here. It's almost like a mini comic book how big it is. It goes through all the different things. You can see what he comes with. We'll go through all that. Goes to the Bandit transformation, which is pretty easy, quite satisfying as well. But then it goes into the details of not just combined mode, trailer mode, but also the base mode, which I'm debating whether I want to do that or not. So that's it for the instructions. Overall, like I said, they're pretty good. Sometimes the smaller things are harder to see. 2 plastic stat cards for Marauder and Bandit. They have their own stats and their own bios. You can take a look at those. Once you get yours, we're not going to freeze frame on that. Out of the packaging, he comes in basically 3 boxes, essentially. Comes with Bandit himself. Just opens up. He's partially mistransformed here, so we'll pull him out. They do have some protective plastic for him. He comes with 2 identical guns as well as 1 extra face. We'll get rid of that, and we'll go into the rest a bit later. Let's just focus on Bandit for now, and then towards the end we'll show off a little bit more. So all right, so a couple things out of box. Depending on yours, I even looked at the out of box instructions that they put up, and mine was different. Like mine already had the back transformed correctly, but I think they showed with this one up or something like that. In either case, what you just need to make sure is tuck in these double hinges here. Oh no, sorry, like this, and then you want to push this down, and then these 2 tabs will come into the back here. And then you would just want to pull this back, and it just rests on the back here. No tabbing or anything like that. There's one thing they didn't show, which you do want to make sure you do. Again, maybe mine is different, but they didn't actually do the knee lock here. So internally, there's a lock that prevents him from doing this. So you want to open that up. And there's this little flip out piece here. Depending on how it's rotated, it's probably rotated up like this. You just need to flip it out. And you'll see there's a little notch here. We're going to insert that in like so. While we're here, we'll get the foot fixed. So you want to bring this entire heel down. You want to extend the toe to make the foot. And then you can actually properly close this up. Before, you couldn't actually tab this in correctly. And before, you didn't have ankle tilt, which he does have now. You can see how the difference here. He doesn't even have a heel at this point. So open this up. You don't even have to open up all the way, really. But if you want to, you can just flip this out. That locks it in place so it doesn't bend there. You want to bring the heel down 90 degrees. Extend this out. Close this up and tab these in. And with that, you should have your Bandit or dead end in the correct robot mode configuration. Doing a quick 360, he does look the part of the cartoon accurate version. I don't love his shoulders. They're on double hinges, and there are a couple of them. It might actually be triple hinges. Might be triple hinges, to be perfectly honest. They make them look a little goofy. I also think the legs look a little weird in that they're rounded on the inside, not on the outside. It kind of makes it look backwards to me. Like it's hard to describe, but this feels like it would look more like a left leg just because it's rounded on the inside. Small nitpick, but it is accurate to have the wheels on the inside, which are rubber. We'll do a quick 360. Very svelte, like the rest of his brethren, which we'll bring out in just a little bit, along with some other comparisons here. He does have a little bit of backpack at the top here, but not much. Nothing too much to complain about. He does have a nice face sculpt. If you are into the more accurate face sculpt, where the mask is not over his nose, but just below his nose, you can see his alternate face here, which I think is quote-unquote more accurate to the cartoon, where the mask is actually below the nose. Pretty easy to swap out. Like usual, you just kind of pull up on this. It is a little challenging to get under here. I suggest a spudger, which I had prepared. Oops, sorry about that. I had prepared and then put it in the wrong area. So sorry about that jostle here. There we go. Just comes off with two little pegs here. Tab that on, and then you have the other face here. My QC inspector is 30. Post up when you get yours which quality check pass that you have. He also has two guns which are identical, nice and glossy. They do transform for alt mode by folding back like that, and they do have pretty traditional MP style tab handles that go in the hands and the palms. And they go on quite well. Even without the fingers curled up, he holds them quite well. All right, so I don't really care about the guns all that much. Let's go into articulation first. Oh, and sorry, I haven't done this in a while, but if you're watching and you're dropping some questions, comments, go ahead and drop them down. But I do have a specific Q&A section that I've started, so that if you drop your questions, I'll go ahead at breaks, where usually between transformations, I'll try to answer those. So drop them there, otherwise they might get lost in the shuffle. I also added a poll that asked what felt longer, the 4 long years between this and the previous Stunticon, or the last time I did a review. So actually, this has been 6 years since their Motormaster came out, and then the rest of them, the other 3, came out within 2 years, and then there's been a 4-year gap. So it's twice as long between the first and the 4th member, and it's twice as long between that time and the time between the 4th member and the 5th member, the combiner part. So that's really quite long. All right, so articulation-wise, his head is on a hinge. You can go up about that much. Doesn't really get much down. He does have a swivel here on a mushroom peg. His shoulders, like I said, have a few hinges. They go into the body for transformation. So I actually think there's one, two, I guess 2 hinges, and then it has a ratcheted rotational joint. You can get the shoulders up, out, and up high like so. He does have a bicep swivel. My left arm is a little loose, but it does have a screw back here, so I should be able to tighten that up with a quarter turn of the screwdriver or something like that. He does have double jointed elbows, again, mostly for transformation, but they're not actually very useful in terms of actual elbow articulation. So the top joint only gets you about 45 degrees, and then the other joint, because of the formation of the arm, the molding of the arm, you don't even get with those 2 joints 90 degrees. I mean, I don't even think that's close, but it might be good enough for folks. Again, depending on how you want to hinge these, you can go up and down with the shoulders, get them up higher if you'd like, or get them down lower. He doesn't have an ab crunch, but he does have ab rotation. But in typical Fans Toys fashion, they have to limit the waist articulation. It's just kind of what they do. I don't know why. It's almost their MO for at this point. So you'll run into this. And the thing is, you could actually get this piece higher if you mistransform it, so that you can actually get 360. So it's very small things like that that really bug me about Fans Toys. Like, yeah. Anyway, I can go on about my complaints about Fans Toys and their waist articulation, but that's neither here nor there. Back to the factual stuff. He does have hip skirts that come to the front and to the side. His legs are ratcheted. His hips are ratcheted, so he can go up like that. Back about that far. Out to the side is just friction, which can go more than 90 degrees. He does have a thigh swivel, which is hidden. He does have an extension joint too. It's really for transformation ease, but you can use that if you really like. But you want to keep that down. My right one is actually extended quite a bit. He also has limited knee articulation, which is about here. Where? I was just realizing, I don't know where I put my scale. I usually do a weight. I rearranged my office a few months ago, and I don't know where I put the scale. So we might have to go without the scale today. All right, so he only gets about, I don't know, 85, close to 90, not bad. Coming down to the lower part of the legs, he does have that ankle tilt, which can go 90 degrees. I don't know if you need that much, but doesn't go the other way at all. He does have toe articulation, which goes kind of crazy, can go up. He does also has tilt down here at the ankle, which is also kind of odd. No rotational joint there. And I think that's... Oh, and I didn't do the hands. How did I totally skip the hands? He does have a mushroom peg wrist, as well as pretty standard Fans Toys and Masterpiece, at least third-party Masterpiece hands, where he has a ball peg thumb, and then he has 4 individual fingers with 2 pin joints of articulation. I will say, because the reason why I was mentioning the scale is that he does feel a little light compared to what you would typically get out of the box with Fans Toys figures. You usually know that Fans Toys feel like he's hefty. He's by no means cheap feeling. He definitely feels quite good, actually. But it's not what you would think, like, oh, man, this is Fans Toys brick style. But I think that's probably a good choice in terms of design, since this is going to be an arm. And not only is he going to be an arm, the only part of the arm, as you'll see when we do a little bit of the review, and if you've looked at the instructions already, there's also basically the entire combiner is just a internal skeleton that the other pieces just tab onto. So not only does it have to be supporting him as an arm, but also the entire frame as well. Yeah, where's my scale? I have no idea. If I remember, I'll try to post it up in the comments. Same heft as drag strip. Let me see. We'll bring out drag strip right now. We'll bring out his brethren. No, drag strips is definitely heavier. I actually feel like I don't know where he has any die cast. That's one of the things that yeah, not even his toes are die cast. Or his heels. That's usually like a telltale sign. Oh, this one part here is die cast in the foot, but I don't think the heel is, and I don't think the toe is. But no, I even just holding them here, he's definitely heavier. I wish I knew where I might put my scale. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But let's do some comparisons since we've already talked about it. So here he is with drag strip. We'll bring out the rest of his teammates here, like Wild Rider. Breakdown, who I think he's still my favorite. I think Breakdown's still my favorite of the group. Although it's hard to say because also Motormaster is quite good, although very painfully with the backpack, but he does quite a bit. So hopefully they're all in frame. Yes, the final shot of the crew together. I'll also bring out some other standard comparisons. So MP44 here. And then a couple of other comparisons that I thought you all might like is X-Transbot's dead end. You can see much smaller. That's one of the things that people may or may not like, just the size, the height of these car bots, especially compared to MP44. So I've actually kept these in robot mode. I never bought the combiner parts for X-Transbots because they were so expensive, and then of course I'm complaining about that when we just paid $400 for Bandit and his combiner parts. Here's Magic Square's Swindle. And then here's another figure that I should have done a review on, but I just never did because I've been lazy. And he's a little bit shorter than Fans Toys long haul here. All right. Yeah, so hopefully that gives you a good idea of what everyone looks like. Again, I'll bring out the team as a whole for a quick comparison before we go on to transformation. All right. Oh, Scavenger. I don't know why I said long haul. Sorry about that. All right. So real quick, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to see if there are any questions. Again, my office is rearranged, so the computer is actually quite far away. So give me a second. The way they did Q&As are a little bit different. I'm trying to find out what questions there are. All right, I'll have to figure that out later because they changed the way they did Q&A, which is indicative of how long I haven't done a review. But let me see. Let me do a quick shout out for folks who are here. Hey, Dr. Diecast, Antoine Lewis, Darth Bacon. I don't think I've seen you before. Yeah, the Fans Toys Constructicons are pretty big. McLuey G, Jay Stabler, some of the old crew here. Zion Farm. I saw TM here. Magnus Prime, James T, Tetranova, Jermaine Sutton. This guy, I just shipped out 4 of this figure to him this morning. That guy's crazy. 4 of these at 400 apiece. Professor Soundwaves, nice to see you. Transfans Toys and Agent GHQ. Hey Thang, how's it going? Thang Nguyen, Jay Stabler, Israel, how's it going? Brad Batley, Enel's World. Check out his YouTube channel as well as TM's. Petrosum. All right, I'm going back quite a bit. So Travis White. So that's as far back as I'm going to go. Again, I apologize. I can't figure out how the Q&A stuff works anymore. So, all right. So we're going to go into transformation. Well, like I said, he is pretty simple, but it's quite satisfying. And pretty nice to have that from Fans Toys. You know, they often have very complicated transformations. This one is actually pretty satisfying, and then it's a stark contrast to what you have to do with the trailer, which is incredibly challenging, especially the first time you do it. I'm sure you're all going to be like me, where you're going to be like pulling out your hair, trying to figure out what's going on, which is why I'm doing it as a separate review and not part of this one here. All right, so transformation wise, like I said, pretty easy. We'll start off with kind of going back to where we were out of the box. We're going to rotate the head 180. We're going to bring this up above his head. We're going to go ahead and pull out what we had done before. If yours are transformed this way, make sure this is tucked in underneath like so, these hinges, and we'll just leave that like so for now. We also want to pull up on the chest, these two tabs here. While we're here, these two kind of oblique pieces, you want to slide them, rotate them back onto his back like so. Now we're going to deal with his arms. Arms up to the side. We're going to open this panel from the front, open this panel from the back. Oops, sorry, I forgot to flip out the side view mirror, so make sure you do that. I'll do the same on this side just so you can see. And then you can rotate the fist in 180. Rotate that in. Once you get that in, you also want to accordion the bicep in, like so. Then you can go ahead and close this panel. Close the back panel. Okay, get that locked in. Same thing on this side. We'll rotate this back and in 180. Collapse the bicep in to the forearm. Close this up. Close this up. We do want to extend the body, so there's actually a couple extension points on this figure. We want to extend it. We only have to extend it this far. You can actually extend it more for the combined mode, which is a little bit more than this, but I'm not really going to, there's no need to show that off, at least not for right now. All right, and then we're going to collapse the arms, the shoulders into the main body here. So as we do this, we want to make sure that this gives you enough clearance. You just want to collapse this in like so. Get that tabbed in here. Make sure it goes underneath the windshield here. If there's a couple of tabs on along the inside here. So same thing on this side. Kind of want to get it angled up like so. Around and tabbed like so. Now we can go ahead and collapse this down and in. Mine tends to have a bit of a gap here no matter what I do. Sometimes I can reduce it a little bit, but I always have a little bit of a gap there for some reason. I'll try to clean that up later, but it's not huge, but definitely noticeable, especially with this line that goes across the hood. So it might be something I'm doing wrong, but there, I reduced it a little bit more. Now we're coming to the lower body. We're going to deal with this later. You need that to close up at the end. You want to extend those thighs like I showed before. This just gives you a little bit of extra clearance. It's actually nice to have. It definitely isn't necessary, but it was nice that Fans Toys included it to make combining the legs a little bit easier. We're going to come down here, and we're going to basically reverse what we did down here. So let's open up this entire panel. We'll open this up, which we didn't see before, which is the rear of the car. Down here, we're going to fold in these two flaps on both sides. This is going to come up and in. The toe, we're literally going to go back. The foot, we're going to literally go back to where we were before out of box. So we're going to collapse this in like so. And then once it's like this, you want to just fold the entire heel and foot in. That piece that we used to stop the knee from moving, we want to bring that out. We're going to rotate that downwards at this screw joint. And that little curve here is actually going to go right here. So right above the toe, and you'll see this little circular piece here. You want to get it fitted right there. All right, and that's it for that side, really. And then only thing we need to do is rotate this entire piece around like that. Come around to tab that in. And then the rear of the vehicle will tab in like so. And that's one leg. Same thing on the other leg. So we'll go ahead and come to the side. Open this up. Get the rear of the vehicle out like so. We're going to fold in this flap and this flap. Fold this up. We're going to come to this knee securing joint tab, rotate that down. Get it in like so. Collapse the foot and toe like that, and then on the heel. Oh, maybe this piece is also die cast. I'm feeling it now. Yeah. So these two pieces, I think, the center and this top piece. Not, I don't think this bottom piece is here, but this piece with the pin is, I think. Rotate that up and in like so. With that out of the way, we're going to rotate this around and in. Get this inner piece around to the inside of the leg. Tab that in here. Like so. And then you're going to pull the two halves together. You have a couple tabs here and here. Mine, it might just be mine, but this also is an area that leaves a gap, especially right here on the front. I can't seem to get rid of it no matter how hard I push or try. But again, that might just be my copy, or it might be just a slight mold issue here. Again, it's not super huge, but you can definitely see through it. With that all done, we're just going to collapse everything in. I like collapsing this. These are the legs here that we extended. Just push down on that. And then we're going to collapse one more time on this rail piece here. Just give it a bit of a wiggle to get these tabs in. Come on now. There we go. And then finally, we're going to extend this piece all the way down. And there are a couple tabs, 2 pegs and 2 tabs here that will get dead end into his alt mode, which looks very, very nice. Very nice. And there are a couple of areas that have a little bit of paint. The orange here, I think the silver behind the yellow makes it look kind of goldish here. The blue headlights. I'm not a car guy, so I don't even know what vehicle this is. It's probably like a RX-7 or something like RX-5. TM Reviews definitely will know. I think that he said this is one of his favorite cars, if I'm not mistaken. It does have nice rubber wheels that roll quite well. I would have liked maybe a painted tailpipe, but that's a minor gripe as well. He does have a little bit yellow here. No paint on the side view mirrors, which is not a big deal either for me. But he does have nice molded in and colored, what is it? Wipers. I can think of the word wipers. Rear wiper and front wipers. Oh, this is a Porsche, really? Oh, 928. Okay. All right. All right. With this, the only other thing that we can really talk about here in transformation is going ahead and flipping this back like so. And then it has little tabs or clips here that go onto the spoiler. Oh, thanks, Halahis, for the $4.99. I don't have a can of root beer. Root beer is disgusting. But I don't really love it because there's already leaving marks on mine, and I've only done it once. So I'm only going to do it once for you all. You just clip that in here. I already have some paint rubbage there. And that's the gun mounted on the back. I can't do any comparisons with his teammates because we're doing a live stream, and I only have one copy, unlike Jermaine, who has a copy for each mode and then another one for some reason. Compared to combined mode blackjack car. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Apache. Okay. All right. I gotta get to all these, but let's see for the alt mode. Oh, I don't have Apache. Why are you trolling me, Badger? I will show off a comparison with blackjack. It's car mode. So it does come packaged mostly in alt mode here. I'm not going to fully transform it just because it's pretty much there already. But, well, here, just push these out. We're going to pull these out, and then you're supposed to put the hip piece, if you're not using it, for the toy configuration. And this tabs in here. This went in. There we go. So not a great blackjack, but it does roll, and it is bigger. Blackjack is pretty big in comparison. The only other comparisons I have are, as usual, my trusty Streak and Red Bumblebee. This would be a very weird team of combiners with all the weird choices of alt mode. Scales really well in alt mode with Streak, I think. Again, not being a car guy, I have no idea how accurate in size it is with a Fair Lady. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, so I gotta figure out how to review the Q&A on my computer. Give me one more second. All right, well, I'm giving up on that. All right, does Blackjack has a bot mode? No, it does not have a bot mode. All right, let's just take this off and this off. Again, the alt mode looks really nice overall. Very hefty. So I know I said in robot mode it felt a little light, but once it condenses down into the alt mode, it feels very substantial and hefty. And again, when I say light, I mean Fans Toys version of light. It's still a very substantial figure overall compared to most of the third parties. So please don't get me wrong on that. It still feels quite good. It was just surprising in comparison to usually the bricks that we get. I do believe he's the lightest of the entire group. But yeah, I do like the color here. I know I'm more of an anime fan or cartoon fan, but I really do like the stripe that he has, the off-center stripe that he has in the toy mode. So when they release the toy deco, I'm sure a lot of people will like that as well. Oh, Petrosa says you may have to dismiss the poll to see the Q&A. All right, let me try that real quick. Yeah, either I don't know what I'm doing or I don't see any Q&A there. If somebody did drop questions, I'll try to get to them at the end. No, it's not a secret confirmation. I just assume that they will. I kind of assume. I guess they have they. I guess they haven't been doing toy decos, have they? Yeah, so maybe. Well, no, they have been doing for some, but I guess not for the combiners yet. So, I would be a bit surprised if they didn't do a toy deco of this one. So, all right. So, apologize for the potential fake news there, but it would be cool if they did do a deco. But I'm sure also Repro Labels will probably do a set so that you can apply that to yourself. All right, so let's get back into, well, oh, I forgot I have to go into combine mode. Haha. All right, so combine mode is super easy to get to. We just want to unpeg this section here. We want to extend here. We're going to actually bring out on here like so. Open this up. This is going to fold back like so, and just going to sit like that here. These two tabs and flaps actually connect to the arm, and then we'll get the combiner pieces to go on here. I'm mistaken, it's supposed to go up. There we go. So you need to extend it a little bit more here. We didn't do the unboxing of the parts, but I guess I guess I'll just go ahead and do it. We've already shown blackjack. So here is the combiner part for him. We're just gonna separate this. The instructions say you have to like separate the hand part. I guess you can, but I can just tab it in like this and then get it around. So there's no reason to actually have to do that, but if you want, you can do that. This goes around. Make sure these pieces are out and just come in from behind here. Get everything aligned, tabbed in. You'll see that there's a small gap right there. I don't know if that's supposed to be there, but I think you're supposed to collapse it down. Either way, it's a small difference, but I think it aesthetically probably makes sense to collapse it there. And then this is, oh, I'm sorry, you have to rotate this around. And this is your arm mode or combined mode for dead end here. Nothing else you really need to do other than combine it with the main bot, which we can show off, I guess. Yeah, I guess we can show it off. I didn't do the unboxing, but let's just go ahead and show it off real quick because it's quick and easy because it's already in combiner mode, which looks really, really great. All you need to do here is open up these flaps, push this die cast hook piece up a bit, and this is going to come in like so. We're going to close this tab, close this tab, and then just push down on this here, and that hooks in, and that is combined arm mode. It does have a nice strong ratchet. I know people are going to ask if I can compare it to their Superion. I cannot do that because I do not own Superion. I did a review on that, but I was not a fan of some of the design choices. So, and that was Toy Dojo's copy, and they ended up selling it to another fan who needed one. So I cannot do that, unfortunately. But I know folks like TM Reviews, who's one of the best reviewers out there, just past 20K in subscribers. He'll do probably a billion videos on this with a lot more comparisons in each of the modes, as well as more details on that. So check out his channel. Make sure, if you're not already subscribed, which I'll be surprised if you're a member here or a viewer here and not a subscriber of his. It does come out like this as well. You can move this out of the way to get about so far. He has the bicep swivel. He has a very nice elbow bend at very close to 90 degrees. Oh, it is 90 degrees. I missed one click. 90 degrees, I thought so. Some nice detailing here. This is one of the benefits, obviously, or one of the many benefits of having such a extensive combiner parts is you get a very much nicer looking set of combined modes, right? The arms and stuff like that look a lot more solid and so forth. He does have the same kind of articulation as Superion's hand, so he has the ratcheted wrists. He does have this thumb joint that can actually flip around 360 this way. Not very anatomically correct, but it's a robot, so who cares about joints? It can also rotate on this ball peg here, has a pin joint, has a thumb pin joint. All four of his fingers are different in length, overall length. Can splay with these screws here, and then each of them also have 1, 2, 3 points of articulation at these 3 pins here. So very nice looking hands. It can also rock back a bit, not all the way back for 90 degrees, but he does have a decent amount of range to there. So to get this off, you do need to get these tabs undone, wiggle this out, and we'll come back to this combined piece set unboxing in a little bit. All right, so that's it for combined mode. We'll go ahead and get rid of everything. So again, just to get to here, we'll untab this, bring these down. You'll combine these like so. There's also a combiner mode or trailer mode. I mean, a trailer mode storage for this as well. And to get it back to where it was, out of the box, we'll rotate it 180 at the wrist. All right, let me get that back into the styrofoam box. All right. So I usually go both ways. super easy to go back into alt mode. Obviously, just collapse all this down. Close this up. If I can get these tabs to go in. There we go. And then extend this and folds that down. That goes into combine mode, which we were just at. And then going back into robot mode very quickly. Untab, extend this, just to give you a bit of room. Extend the thighs, so you should see the entire hip skirt if you're extending enough. Split at the legs here. Pull out on these rear pieces, allowing you to flip this up and around. We'll go ahead and open up these panels and start opening up all these panels in the leg. The rear piece is going to fold down like so. We're going to pull this locking piece, knee locking piece up. We do need to fold it in temporarily just to get it cleared so that then it can fold into this slot there. We'll pull out the toe and heel like we did before, right at the beginning of this video. Extend it on those hinges there. We'll close all this up and get that forward, and then you have the one leg done once you collapse at the thigh. There we go. Same thing on the other side. I've already did that pretty quickly, but we could go even quicker. We'll just go ahead and open that up. Open these up. Fold in the rear panel. Get out this locking tab. Get that secured. Pull out the foot and the heel. Extend like that. Yeah, the transformation is actually, like I said, very satisfying. Pretty easy. Reminds me of a lot of mainline stuff from Combiner Wars. A lot of the way the legs work and stuff like that. Even the expanding pieces here are pretty nice. Where was I? I was actually trying to feel for more die cast and seeing if I missed any. All right, coming to the upper body, you don't have to do this, but I like doing this. I like to extend this first and kind of get it out the way. Then I'm going to deal with the arms. So you need to get those untabbed and out to the side. Come on. There we go. Come out 90 degrees. We're going to open up this flap and this back flap here. We're going to extend at the bicep and the elbow. Rotate the fist out 180. Close that up. Close that up. Fold in the side view mirrors. Same thing on the other side. Open the front flap. Open the back flap. Rotate. Extend out the bicep and elbow. Rotate the fist out. Close up this tab. Close up the back tab. Rotate this back in. While we're here, let's go ahead and just deal with this. So we're going to extend this out so that the curved pieces are kind of back to back and then fold down inside. We're going to pull out these side pieces while we're here, and then we can tab these in. With that, we're pretty much close to done. You do need to make sure that you have the shoulders out as far as you can get them, like so. That will give you enough clearance so that the chest can collapse down. And they're a little awkward just because they're floating, so you want to support them from behind. Come on. There we go. Those tabs, those are good. We're going to pull the front of the vehicle down, the front bumper, rotate at the head, and then we'll collapse in the waist. And with that, we have Dead End or Bandit back in robot mode. So final thoughts before I do some comparisons that I owe folks that donated, which I very much appreciate. I do like this figure. It's actually quite fun. Again, has a lot of mainline vibes to it. I always enjoy Knight's engineering, and I think this is pretty well engineering, pretty well engineered, with the exception of a few nitpicks like this piece here that blocks the waist articulation and the somewhat limited articulation in the knee and the double jointed elbows. No ab crunch, but again, that's probably me being a little bit nitpicky here. It would have been nice, but again, he already had to add a lot of hidden joints for the combined mode elbow. And I think the engineering they did around that was quite cool. Overall, he's probably one of my least favorite of the group. Probably between him and Dragstrip are probably my least favorite. But that's still it's a great set, and I'm finally glad that we have him just so we can finish the set. And the combined mode, as you saw so far, is pretty satisfying. I haven't actually combined all of them yet, though. I've only combined like the upper body and I've done the lower body separately. But I spent most of my time today trying to figure out the trailer mode, which took, I think, an hour to get there just for the one time. So I got to do a lot more practice before I come back for a part 2. But let me do some comparisons that I owe folks. What do I owe folks, actually? Oh, man. Oh, so that's what you were talking about before, TM. Like, they do XP now. Let me see who donated, because, again, the way that the app has changed makes it hard for me. Oh, I finally figured out how to do the questions. So we got a couple questions here. Frankly, Lawless asks, are the shoulder hinges toleranced well at least? They're okay. I mean, they're probably intentionally somewhat loose, just to make it easier for transformation. I just don't love the shoulder joints on this. I mean, they're not terrible, but I also hate it when they do a bunch of shoulder joints here, because then it never feels quite stable, but they're okay. TM says, show with other cars from the combiner when you get to car mode. Again, I can't really do that because I showed you what I had in terms of alt modes. I don't have very many vehicles there, but I'm sure you're going to do it, so why are you asking me for it? Miklucha G asked, hey, did you remember to weigh it? And I actually talked about that quite a lot. I moved my office, and I don't know where my scale is. If you guys give me 1 second, I'll see if I can find it real quick. It's probably in a place where I was like, hey, this is really smart. I should put it here. I'll remember. And then, of course, I forgot. I always think that I'm a genius when I'm like, hey, I'm going to organize my life. And then I don't remember where I put everything. All right. Yeah, I don't know. The genius that is Paik reorganized things, and now they're nowhere to be found. I normally would probably put it in, like, on the ground, right near the review area, but I did say McLucci that he's probably the lightest of the group just from feel, and I felt out of box. Oh, I found it. I said it's probably on the ground, and that's literally where it was, underneath my cabinet here. So without any other accessories, he is 9.3 ounces, which is also 262 grams. Let's see, in 262 in comparison to Wild Rider, he's 336. In comparison to Dragstrip, he's 332. Breakdown, these are all over 300. I'm not going to bother comparing it to Motormaster because obviously that's very heavy. Here he is with Magic Square Swindle, which has a couple of accessories, but 264 versus 230. So Magic Square is lighter, which I would expect, and compared to the very small X Transbot, it's 210. So Again, he's not a light figure when compared to other third-party figures. He's just light in comparison to Fans Toys figures. Let's see how much he weighs against MP44, because I always forget. Yeah, MP44 is like 400, so glad I was able to find that scale. Other questions I see. Oh, Ridiculous says favorite Ozzy song. I'm not a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan. I'm trying to think of any ones that I know. I don't know, probably something from Guitar Hero. There, TM. Um, uh, Frankie Law says, can you utilize the expanding waist joint for waist swivel? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. I guess you could do that. So that's kind of genius. You'll have a gap, but you do get 360 without interference there. Oh, and I should have mentioned, I guess if you do that, he also has one-way side tilt on his waist. What else do we have as far as questions? I think only one more question here. Professor Soundwave asks, part 2 in 6 years? Yeah, maybe. And then Petrosson says, prediction for how long the combined mode movie will be. So the combined mode one, I don't think will be very tough at all. Just because the arms are pretty easy to get to once you're in alt mode. So we already showed that. He should be pretty easy as well. I showed that off before. Both of the legs, all they do are basically go into alt mode and then clip on. The only one that's going to be quote unquote challenging is or time consuming is going to be Motormaster, which again, I think I did a theory on that when he first came out 6 years ago. So I'll have to see how accurate I was. So the combined mode is pretty easy. The accessory will be pretty easy. The one that's challenging is the trailer mode, mainly because there's a lot of things going on there, a lot of panels as you would imagine, and there's a lot of hidden joints and a lot of tight tolerances with the panels and so forth. So not hidden joints, hidden tabs. And so that makes it kind of frustrating. You just need to have things super aligned. And even when I got it done, there was one thing that didn't seem a little. I don't know. It didn't seem right. I don't know if I did something wrong or if there was a tab that was too long that was interfering. But I'll talk to that later. And then if I do base mode, I don't know. That's like 4 videos. Maybe I could combine the trailer and combine mode, but that would also be really, really long. So I don't know. I think it'd be probably the trailer mode itself will probably take about an hour, I think, to do both ways. So I'll probably go from out of the box to trailer mode and then maybe try to get the combined mode. But I probably won't do both ways just because it will be just way, way too long. That said, I don't want to finish off the review here. I did want to show you at least what's the rest in the other boxes, even though we've already kind of shown off some pieces. So we'll do some additional unboxing here. So give me a second. Sorry, all my comparison figures are falling all over the place on the floor here. So. All right, so we saw Bandit's styrofoam coffin. You can see in comparison, this one's much, much larger. So Bandit's box fits like this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 sizes, 4 times bigger than the Bandit box. And it comes in 2 layers. The first layer we open up, we have his combined upper torso. We have Blackjack. We have his kind of shoulder thingies. And then we have both arm pieces here. And then on the lower layer, we have the lower body and the accessories. So the lower layer. Also, this figure came out with a ton of mold release grease. So, sorry for the styrofoam screeching here. He felt super slimy. He does have a huge sword, which will show off in a bit, and additional faces. So I think that's it for that. I guess I can show off Blackjack real quick, but he's pretty simple. Again, all I did was make sure the wheels were out. You need to flip these two panels out behind the wheels to secure them. This piece has two tabs that it will clip onto, and if you take the waist piece, you can actually put it in like so, and it clips. It will secure this in here, like so. So that's Blackjack, or the toy mode chess piece. Again, this can just tab on here. Also for transformation up here, if you want, you need to get this rotated down. You'll see these nubs, which are kind of guiding points for these. And you do need to have this piece removed and these pieces rotated for trailer mode. So unfortunately, some of the things that you may want in your animation, you got to take off for trailer mode. All right, so yeah, that's all the stuff. I haven't even looked at the transformation for this, for the alternate chess piece, to be perfectly honest. I know it expands. You can see there's expansions there. So I would just be guessing at this point because I haven't even looked into the transformation yet for this. But I do know that this slides out like so. There's even an additional sliding piece up at the top here. So something like that. So that's the alternate chess piece. I think these are for the shoulder pieces around the head. I haven't even looked into how this works. I'm guessing it just works kind of like this. Probably just sits around the head like this. I would guess. Again, I haven't looked into it, but it's probably something like that. There is a transformation for the head itself, which I haven't looked into, but it does transform. And then all the alternate faces are in here as well. But yeah, I haven't even looked into whether this guy, I think this guy can stand all by itself. I don't know if you actually need, well, yeah, you probably need Motor Master to at least get the core, the upper body and lower body attached. But he does have a bunch of alternate faces, an angry face, a screaming face, a kind of frowning face, another screaming face. What's the difference between these two? Oh, one has the chin piece, a la Galvatron. And this one looks like another grimacing face compared to his straight face here. So yeah, these are the arm pieces. We saw this one already. Here's the one for drag strip, which works a little bit differently. It's actually on an accordion piece, but essentially the same. We'd have to rotate this around. The legs, literally, they just tab into the back here. There is also little hooks here behind the knees that help that tab into place. And the feet, the heels, I will say, I did mess with the heels because you need to get them in and out for combined mode. Well, for combined mode, you need them out. But these are really hard to get into. I tried spudgers and everything. It's really a challenge. I wish they gave a little bit more of a groove to get into it because there's no gripping here. There's only, in here, there's a groove on the front side, which you got to get something really thin to get it started. Luckily, I was able to see that, but yeah. The combined pieces are very, very hefty and solid, like you would imagine, just like we got with Superion. So, again, we're not going to go into it today just because it's already been a long review. We're already at 1 hour almost exactly. And just getting into trailer mode, I think it's going to take me 30 minutes at least if I get it down pat over the next day or two. So I'm going to try to come back again tomorrow. If not, maybe later this week. But I really need to nail down the trailer because there's a lot of pieces going on here that can be kind of confusing. So with that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Oh, I see some other comparisons. Oh, I do owe some other comparisons, don't I? Is the set worth the 6-year wait? Is what Anthony Brown has asked. I can't give an honest answer to that yet because I haven't combined it. But from what I feel right now, I don't know if it was worth the wait, but I'm glad that the wait is over. So I'll kind of leave it at that. Let's see what other question we have. When is Toy Dojo getting the rest of theirs? I actually don't know. So I got this from my sponsor Toy Dojo. They typically send me fans toy shipments, a couple of cases here or there that I can help out getting shipments to the East Coast folks a little bit easier, especially in the Northeast. But uh, but this time mine came and Toy Dojo doesn't know when they're getting theirs, or at least when I asked earlier today. So it should be soon. I imagine it's from the same shipment. So I'm on the East Coast. I'm actually surprised that I got it before he did in Texas. So Jermaine says he knows, so he might know more than me. Oh, hey Dare, how's it going? MS squared STL 30, Travis White, and some other folks here. Ridiculous Badger says shows you is shipping right meow. So there you go. Oh, Brad Batley asked the questions as well. Oh yeah, we talked about that. He asked about the waist extension for so you can use that. You can open this up slightly to give you 360 without running into that. So you'll see a little bit of a belly button here. I guess that actually looks like a robotic belly button. It's like kind of wrinkled up. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm tired. But yeah, I'll be back. And again, I think the next video will probably be combined mode. And maybe if I'm feeling confident, I'll go from combined mode to trailer. But I think trailer and base might go in one video instead. So I think everyone wants to see combined mode. So we'll do combined mode next, which it'll be easier for me. And then it'll give me a little bit more time to do trailer mode. But combined mode is pretty simple. I'm not going to show all of those transformations for the most part. I'm just going to start from alt mode for the limbs, and then I'll probably start from robot mode for Motor Master and just show that. But with that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. This guy should be getting into everyone's hands very shortly. Again, Toy Dojo is my sponsor. If you want to support me and them, go ahead and click the Toy Dojo link in the description below. I think that's it. We'll see what else I have coming up. I haven't been doing a lot of reviews, but I'll try to get back into it. But thank you all for your support. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll talk again next time. Thanks all.